shot didn't come from that building behind me. It came from back there, behind the fence on the grassy knoll. That's where the man was, not the book depository. Remember that.
I love strip clubs. Oh my God. It's the lights, the lack of lights, I guess. The music, the weird pattern carpets, the athleticism. Women are fucking incredible. And when I go to strip clubs, whoever I'm with, I have to tell them my signals, right? So a big one for me, when I'm sitting up at the stage, which is 90% of the fucking time, and I go like this. Oh, excuse me. Hold. When I am like this, right? This means I want a gin and tonic, 2 limes, and $100 in ones. Beep, beep, beep. I fucking all night. Because if you're not tipping aggressively, get the fuck out. I'm at this club in New Orleans, and let me tell you that Creole coochie and Bayou boobies got my gumbo going. I'm so sorry. I'm hungry and I need a nap, and I'll see myself out. That was cringy.
Here's the BBB&JOEB, and the BBB, baby, BBB&JOEB, rap cock and Joe Morelli, BBB&JOEB. And the BBB, baby, BBB&JOEB, rap cock and Joe Morelli. We're coming in, only seeking the truth about JFK. Here's the long coming podcast crew. Tell 'em, Joe, here we go.
And although Trey beat me to it, here we go.
That is correct, sir. It is us, the boys who get your gumbo gooey, Joe. Triple B and Joe B here with you for another exciting edition of the Lone Gunman Podcast, episode number 365.
Ooh, getting up there.
I know. We're knocking on 400's door.
Are we knocking?
Anybody there?
Are we knocking on heaven's door?
Maybe. Every day we get closer and closer.
To quote the Donald, I don't know if I'm making it. I don't know if I'm heaven bound. Which was a funny quote by him the other day.
I know. He's done a lot in his life. He may not be.
Yeah, it's true. I think I'm in better shape, but I hope so.
He just needs to redeem himself and ask for forgiveness.
Yes.
From our Lord and Savior.
Yes, sir. And of course, let's start it off by thanking the with 2 E's, double B. Oh, no, only 1 E now. Yeah, Horn ready. For gifting 5 spook level memberships. And Rob.
Splooge.
Wow, you just came all over the screen, bro.
Sorry.
And guess who got another one?
You did.
I did. So my theory is, and yes, I think this makes 4 times. I think the double B now. It's weird. What's going on here? But it is based on interaction. So the more you interact, the more you comment, the more you like, the more points you get on this little, chat scale, the more you're likely to get gifted a membership. So interact, guys. Say hi. Say we love you. We hate you. And I guess that's a good segue into our rant. First one, or the commenters rant.
Yes. Go right ahead, Joe. Kick it off.
I was going to let you do it, bro. You did it perfectly on members only.
Well, I'll just keep it brief. It feels like there's been a lot more animosity in our chats not necessarily our live stream chats so much because, they don't have any balls to come in here and talk shit with our people. But, after the fact, after the lives go and get posted, they become normal videos, and then there's a whole different comment section.
Right.
And there's been a lot of crappy, accusatory comments aimed at us since we started singling out, the most outspoken member of our community.
Yeah.
Coincidence? Maybe.
Mhm.
Methinks not.
Yeah.
That we have some, bots aimed in our direction.
There has been an uptick, man, and it really happened after our episode last week with Mr. Ed Hoffman.
Yeah, I saw another one today.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
You didn't see that one?
No.
Let me see if I can find it right quick.
Okay.
Wasn't on the book review.
All positive there.
Oh, there was a guy. Is there any witnesses to the conspiracy these guys believe? And somebody said optoeconomists said they seem to believe the railroad workers, Holland Bowers, and their co-workers. Note that the evidence for an assassination conspiracy does not require that shots were fired from the locations they indicated. The setting off of a diversionary smoke bomb parking lot would mean that others were involved in the attack. And Joe replied, yes, witnesses that are credible and don't embellish and make shit up. Sorry, we are objective and don't embrace every witness just because it's pro-conspiracy. There are plenty of JFK podcasts who blindly believe every witness. We are proud to not be one of those. If you enjoy being misled, go listen to Black Cop Radio or America's Untrue Story and move on.
Yeah.
And then the guy say you're objective, Joe, without being objective.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, we said this briefly maybe not so briefly on members only on Wednesday. So definitely become a covert operator to hear that. But Rob and I do very little prep for this. He goes, go check out the statements, go get some documents. I'll do this part. I'll do that part. We don't plan, hey, let's plan a show of calling Ed Hoffman a liar. That's not what we did. In fact, we emphasized the fact that when you lose some certain senses, other senses are amplified. You pointed out where he was allegedly. I literally had a whole PowerPoint of people that corroborated his story. And at the end of this 2-hour episode, it might have been a little less because I think I went to hockey that night. We came to our own objective conclusions. Like, we don't plan this shit out, guys.
Yeah. I mean, we could have just as easily done a show just about Ed Hoffman and what he saw. But I told Joe, let's grab a bunch of other witness testimony, like Lee Bowers, like the railroad guys who were fucking there, and see what they have to say and what they saw, and see if we can match anything up and corroborate anything.
Exactly.
And at the end of it, we were like, there's problems with his story. There's lots of problems with his story.
Lots of problems.
We said, there's probably a kernel of truth in here somewhere,
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what we said at the end.
But it doesn't mean we just have to believe everything that Ed Hoffman says without question. That's foolish to believe anything anybody says without question. We question everybody.
Right. Exactly.
We take a lot of things into consideration. Like tonight, we're going to take a lot of things into consideration.
Yeah. And we don't know where we're going to land, to be honest. We came on 5 minutes before this. We went live. You know what I mean? Like, we just let it ride, man. And thank you, Peaches, for this nice comment. I think you guys are quite objective, and I really appreciate that. I mean, we try to be. It's definitely a rare quality.
Look, we're not objective about, I'll admit, when it comes to like James Files or Judith Very Baker. To me, as somebody who's looked into this thing for 35 years, I have the right to dismiss certain individuals out of hand. And trust me when I tell you that I've looked into their claims really hard. When I first started this podcast and getting back into things back in the 2010s, I was on a mission to debunk a lot of these myths that are out there, and these idiots like Ralph Sinkay, who Oswald was in the doorway. No, he fucking wasn't, you jackass. That's clearly Billy Lovelady. Oh no, well, that picture was photoshopped 50 years ago. Sure it was, guy. Sure it was. Oh, we have 50 points of Photoshop difference on this. It's just some things are to the point of ridiculousness.
Right.
And deserve no time. For us to sit here and do a show at this point about Judy Baker and her her lies would be a giant waste of time, because I would hope that everybody that tunes into this show by now does not believe her bullshit.
Right. Or James Files. And bro, we probably get a ton more views if we did a show on that bullshit than, say, Cuban Exiles or whatever, right? That's just how the ALGO works. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it pushes the bullshit. And there has to be some people that push back against that. And there is a journey that you go through when you put a lot of time into this subject. And the more I go through shit and escalate on my journey, the less bullshit I believe. And I think that goes for most people.
Yeah, because when you hear a good story and you really want to believe it, and it sounds good to you, but you need to take the due diligence to just look a little harder at people's claims and say, well, this can't be true, because on this day, we know for a fact that Lee Harvey Oswald was here doing this. Not on a streetcar named Desire, feeling up Judy Berry Baker in the back seat. You know what I mean? It's like, seriously.
Right. And then there was another comment saying we made fun of Ed Hoffman for 2 hours. No, we didn't. I made a joke saying to be a fly on the wall between that conversation with the other deaf guy.
And look,
which I thought was pretty funny, actually. I
make fun of a lot of people on the show, most of them with disabilities.
You make fun of people, from white people, from the South, New Orleans, your accents. We try to make document researching fun. We try.
It wouldn't be a good watch, to sit here and listen to me and Joe sit here monotonely talk about everything for 2 hours and sit here like this and not be funny and not be entertaining.
Yeah.
Look,
do you want to read Marrion Baker's 30-page warrant commission verbatim tonight? No, I know.
We do that so you don't have to.
Yeah.
We're going to make this entertaining. Trust me. There's some funny business going on here with this story, and we're gonna hit it. Yeah. But I'm an equal opportunity make fun of her. And like I pointed out on Members Only, people with disabilities want to be treated just like everybody else. You see people with disabilities go to a comedy show. They want to be made fun of just like everybody else. If you can't laugh at yourself, there's something wrong with you.
I mean,
know that it's not malicious, and no, I'm not a racist, and no, I'm not a bigot, no, I'm not a hater. I love everybody in this world on an individual basis until they fucking do me wrong. Okay?
For sure. And our assessment of Ed Hoffman's claims has absolutely nothing to do about his level of being handicapped or not. Has nothing to do with it. None.
Nothing.
Thank you, James.
If Ed Hoffman could talk and hear, and his story was exactly the same as it was, we'd still have problems with it.
Exactly.
So, if there's a little, I'm sure if Ed Hoffman was watching a video of himself, doing that, he'd probably laugh at himself. He looks ridiculous.
He does.
Way too animated.
Turin, you nailed it. This world has lost its sense of humor.
Yes. Laugh, people. Enjoy life.
And by the way, how many times do I make fun of myself for my pronunciation? Every show, multiple times.
Or I make fun of Joe.
Yeah. It's just...
It's fun. Love it.
Yeah. I mean, you do make fun of me a lot, but it's fun. And
It's
yeah,
not Alice. It's I'm just poking.
yeah,
It's
I,
just
I I know I don't take it personally because I don't
if
have
I didn't
a
like you, I wouldn't joke with you.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like we're friends. We can take it. It's fine.
yeah,
Good.
yeah, exactly, man. Amen. As who said this? Um, James Smith. Amen, Joe. Yeah. So there's other. If you want to blindly believe every witness, there are other places to go.
Yes.
This is not one of those places. So yeah. And speaking of, there's a lot of hoopla, a lot of I don't know what to call it, going on, the community drama with the KGB thing, files being released, and we got into that on Wednesday. We're going to keep this extremely brief, but this stinks to high heaven. First of all, and we did this on Wednesday, thought experiment. Why would Russia all of a sudden now give us these documents after we've been funding a proxy war against them for 3.5 years? For transparency? Because they like the shape of Luna? That's the only thing I can think of. Be like, oh, we
Can't
can
blame you
talk
for
with
that.
Luna. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The ambassador wants to get in good with Luna. Uh, it's one kind of thing after the other, but I feel like we're losing focus with some of these distractions. It's going to be interesting. What did the Russians think? They thought Lee Harvey Oswald was a loser. Uh, uh, they surveilled him anyway. What their thoughts on the assassination is essentially hearsay, unless you had KGB assets on the grassy knoll. You know,
And don't get it twisted.
guide
These are not
guiding
these are not
Oswald.
KGB, these are not KGB reports on Oswald surveillance. They have nothing at all to do with any kind of intelligence reports on the Russian side of things at all. These are merely 350 pages of boring documents and papers put together by what they think happened
Right.
and who was behind it.
Listen, probably our main enemy in the last 60 plus years, right? Like, you have to take it with a grain of salt. And it's just, you're going to get the headlines, you're going to get the tweet impressions, blah, blah, blah. But it's a little frustrating. Why don't you fucking clean up the archives, okay? Why don't you get an archivist in there that can digitize? I think I heard, shout out to Bart Camp, who will come up a couple times in this episode, by the way. He just released 2 episodes, or 2 episodes, YouTube videos with him and Malcolm Blunt, and fuck, I just lost my total train of thought.
Anyway, let's just leave it at that, Joe. I mean, I'm done talking about wasting any more time with this nothing burger bullshit and Morley.
Oh,
Tired of talking to this motherfucker.
okay. Well, I was saying, like, this is. I found it again, thankfully. Where's the focus on the JFK Records Act or cleaning up the archives? A bipartisan passed law through Congress.
You had noticed the government shut down, Joe. Why don't you make that point?
Oh, yes. So the reason that Morley has got the initial scoop on these documents is because the government was shut down. But guess what? Let me just confirm the day. I think it was September 9th, over a month ago, where he started asking for translators.
For those of you who don't remember how long ago that was, it was the day before Charlie Kirk got shot.
Yeah. So
September 9th.
Yeah. So, this is a month, 5 weeks ago. He's asking for Russian translators to translate this document. And only now, I mean, did he predict the government shutdown? No, it was slated. He has taken a lot of shit from the community for his exclusive access. And he is now making the government shutdown excuse as the reason he got this first.
Right.
But he was asking for translators five weeks ago. The government shut down, I believe it was October 1st. So, still, he should play the stock market. He should play the lottery, Rob. That's what I would say.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
I'm sure he wins all the time.
Yeah. I'm sure. So, let's just, before we get into it, let's say hi to a couple people. Timothy Ryan, Jack Taylor, South to West, Double B, of course, Trey, Jack Taylor, Paula Jane. Oh, listening us from the airport. This was like 20 minutes ago.
Charlotte Airport.
Paulinici, Moose Heaven, and I'm going really quick, so if I miss you, I apologize. Toops74, good evening from the future. 10 a.m. Saturday in Australia. Hello.
Well, top of the morning to you, Toopsy.
Yeah. I said it.
That's a new name, so welcome in.
Yeah. Scott Edwards, how are you, sir? Saleh, we can't forget about her. Derek Ward, what's up, my man? How's it going? Covert operator, who is familiar with our rants on these topics. Ulickadeluga, who is new to me, but thank you for engaging. I really love y'all. My guest would say she might be from the South. He or she, I'm sorry, I don't want to misgender. I seriously look forward to your newest videos. Yes, we have
Joe, they're from the South.
What?
I said maybe South America. That sounds like it's from another country.
Oh, I was just saying because of y'all.
Oh.
South to West. Let's see. Timothy Ryan already said. Tiny Dancer. I hope you are feeling better and are out of the hospital. Yeah, it's weird the way this is working out because there's a lot of.
Oh, he's shooting cannonballs and we're shooting missiles.
Right. Yeah.
Tiny.
And when you hear what we got planned, the members already know for November. Yeah, we'll be laying down that fire. Slacker Dan, although I think, see, all these names are, it's like they're
different.
No, it's like their handle, not their like username. Something
changed. We noticed this in members only with people's handles here.
Yeah, James Smith, Peach Sisters, of course, Peaches, Claude, of course, and
man, there's a ton of people in here tonight.
Aunt Udine.
Love it.
Yeah, man, we're so yeah. That's I think
Mrs. Shreveport Trey.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, turn. That was on purpose.
You say it again, Joe.
Is this my liberty lobby? Pronunciation.
Oh God.
It gets in my head. Tony Holman. Yeah, try doing 2 hours live on. Make no mistakes.
Ooh, that sounds good. Venison jerky.
Anthony Thrip. Hello, sir. And I think we have everyone.
Our salesman from down under. Hey, Toopsy, if you need any carpet, get in touch with Anthony.
Yes.
I believe he's in Cleveland.
No, it isn't. No, that's not the Australian one.
Yeah.
Oh, I was saying
Queensland, Australia.
Oh, okay. So maybe the other Australian guy that's joining can contact him.
Or maybe he's a regular listener and Toops is his handle.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, and the handles are messing with us.
Toops. I hope that's not a nickname because you wear a toupee. Like the people call you Toopsy because you're clearly wearing a toupee. Hopefully that's not the case.
Yes.
All right.
So now
I have Joe something very special for everyone. Even you don't know this. I have a surprise.
Ooh, I like it.
I do. I have a surprise for everybody. We have another Lone Gunman Podcast exclusive, boots on the ground, sleuthiness in New Orleans.
Ooh.
Our very own Anne from Peach Sisters Kitchen was in New Orleans last week, and she sent us some exclusive footage that we're going to watch right now. It's about I put this together, Anne, and it's a lot of her stuff put together into a video. It's about 2.5 minutes long, and we're going to check it out. Okay,
Let's do it. I'm looking forward to it.
good. All right. I may stop it for a comment here or there, but this is awesome.
We are known to do that. Yes. All right.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, let me pause it real quick because I thought this was the courthouse. This was actually the police station in 1963. Looks like a Southern mansion, right?
It really does.
So this is cool. This was, like I said, this was the police station in New Orleans. This is where they took Lee Oswald after they arrested him after the fracas.
Peaches, do you know what it is now? If you do, let us know in the comments.
This is at Royal and Canal.
Rubenstein's. 1924.
And this is the home of the 500 Club on Bourbon Street, where Jack Ruby poached Jada to come work for him in Dallas. She was shaking her hips inside this place.
I wish I was there to see that, man. That, and I wish I was there to see.
Okay, I'm trying to find 126 Exchange Place, which is where Lee Harvey Oswald lived with his mother when he was in about 5th grade or so, I think. So I found 108, and that means it'll be down on this side. And apparently they lived on the 2nd floor, I think above a laundry, but I can't find any other numbers. And as you can see, there's construction going on down here. But it would have been something like this.
You know, they got doors, like here's a door, but I would think it would be closer to that intersection. It indicated that's where it was.
Yeah, let's take a look.
I like it, Peaches.
The door to the right in this picture is 107 Decatur Street, which is where, I believe, Bringuer's shop would have been. And this is where Lee Harvey Oswald went in to speak to him. And it is now part of the Dixie Market, where you can buy some New Orleans pralines.
And real quick, to the right, okay, this is 107. This would have been Bringuer's shop, La Casa Roca. But to the right of this would have been the Havana Bar, Joe.
Yeah, around the corner to the right.
No, just to the right.
Oh,
not around.
Okay. Yes, you're right. Yeah, in the side street. Yeah.
Yeah, to the right. Like if she were to pan the camera to the right, we would see 105, which was the Havana Bar. And this is 107, La Casa Roca.
It's right on the corner of Canal Street. It's not a bad street.
There it is.
You can see the other storefronts are pretty nice and include a barber shop. And this is also about a 2 to 3 minute walk from Exchange Place, where Oswald lived in 53 or 54. Not that that's the same time period when he met Bringuer, but it's interesting.
Bravo, Ann. Thank you so much.
Yes.
That was awesome. Awesome. And we hope you had fun in New Orleans, checking all that stuff out.
How could you not have fun in New Orleans?
Yeah. Thank you so much for thinking of us and taking the videos and the pictures. We appreciate it. It's awesome to see some of this stuff now, you know, and see what it looks like. Tell Aunt you need to drink another one, Claude.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you very much for that.
Was
and
awesome.
yeah, thank you, Peaches, from Sally. And when you get a compliment from Sally, it's always a good thing.
That's right. All right, Joe, let us get into Marrion Baker.
Oof.
That's Marrion with 2 R's. Not many men named Marrion, like a boy named Sue, a boy named Marrion. You know, he's a tough son of a bitch because he probably had to fight growing up a lot with people calling him a sissy.
Yeah, that's
With a name like that.
definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
Just saying. So let's take a look at Marrion Baker and see what he has to say.
Yes.
So this will lay the groundwork for everything we're going to be talking about here tonight between Marrion Baker and Roy Truly. And thank you to Bart for this video that I stole from his Lone Gunman YouTube page. Here we go.
I heard those shots come off, and they seemed like they was high, and they were directly ahead of me. And as I tried to figure out where they came from, and the building that I had in mind was directly ahead of me, and that was the Texas Book Depository building. As I entered the building there, I asked some of the people that were standing around there where the stairs or elevator was, and there was a man who spoke up and said he was the building manager and he'd show me.
I realized that he didn't know the layout of the building, so I ran in with him.
Roy Truly?
Just a matter of seconds after the third shot. And we ran across the shipping room floor, stopped at the elevators.
And we couldn't get that service elevator working, and he said, well, we use the stairs. And he turned around and immediately went up the stairs.
We ran on up the first flight to the second floor, and the officer looked in the snack bar adjacent to our office.
And I kind of looked off to the right over there through a doorway and saw an image of a man walking away through that doorway. And when I got to the doorway, he was on down there a little bit, and I hollered at him and asked him to come back.
The officer with me had a gun in his hand, and he threw the gun toward the middle of Oswald, and he looked probably a little startled, like anybody else would if you just put a gun in the stomach all at once, which I thought was natural. But
I turned around and asked him if the man worked for him, and if he knew him. And he said, yes, said he works for me, and I know him. And at that time, the man never did say anything. I never did say anything further to him. I turned around and went on up the stairs to the third floor.
This man that you saw later turned out to be Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yes, sir, he did.
Officer Baker, as you think back now to November 22nd, would you hazard a guess as to the time you heard these shots, and the time it took you to get into the building and go up the stairs, and the time when you first saw Lee Harvey Oswald?
I believe, excuse me, from the time that I heard those shots and time I ran into that building, entered the lobby, and made it up to the second floor, it was approximately a minute and a half to 2 minutes. And that would be pretty close to it.
In your testimony before the Warren Commission, was this reenacted, this timing?
Yes, sir.
Could you tell me how you did it?
Well, we went back to the same day that we figured what I did that particular day, and we tried to get to the spot where I thought I first heard the shots. And from there, we took it and we did everything, reenacted the whole situation there, the entrance into the building, and the talk we had between the building manager and myself, and then we went on back through the building and we tried to get the service elevator down, and we then went on up the stairs, and that I believe somewhere around a minute and a half was our timing on it.
As you recall it, does that seem like a reasonable length of time for him to have been able to do those things?
He could have done it if he'd have been awful fast, or if he'd pre-planned it right away. But the ceilings are low on each floor, and the stairways do not have too many steps on them.
Yeah. Now, this video, these interviews we just saw were done, I believe, in late 64, early 65. So by this time, the narrative, okay, that we got fed during the Warren Commission was entirely in place.
Yes.
But
they had their story straight by this time.
Yes. Let us go back in time to November 22nd, Joe, and take a look at Marrion Baker's affidavit from November 22nd, where he says, Friday, November 22nd, 1963, and this was
Yep, I just put it up there.
Yeah.
And I have the handwritten version next, by the way.
Well, we're gonna go through that. I was riding motorcycle escort for the President of the United States at approximately 12:30. I was on Houston Street, and the President's car made a left turn from Houston onto Elm. Just as I approached Elm in Houston, I heard 3 shots, and I realized these shots were rifle shots. And I began to try to figure out where they came from. I decided the shots had come from the building on the northwest corner of Elm in Houston. This building is used by the Board of Education for book storage. I jumped off my motorbike and ran inside the building. As I entered the door, I saw several people just standing around. I asked these people where the stairs were. A man stepped forward and stated he was the building manager and that he would show me where the stairs were. I followed the man to the rear of the building, and he said, "Let's take the elevator." The elevator was busy or hung up several floors up, so we had to use the stairs instead. As we reached the 3rd and 4th floor, I saw a man walking away from the stairway. Again, let me reiterate that. As we reached the 3rd or 4th floor, I saw a man.
The 2nd floor.
Right. Now, I'm not mentally disabled in the least, Joe, and I don't think Marrion Baker is either. Now, if I'm running up stairs, right, from the 1st floor to the 2nd floor, I would think that that's pretty easy to remember, that it was on the 2nd floor that I had this encounter.
Right.
Not after I had been running up 3 or 4 flights of stairs.
Yes. That is quite a different hike up the stairs.
And again, there's no mention of a doorway, a lunchroom, anything like that. We reached the 3rd or 4th floor. I saw a man walking away from the stairway. I called to the man, and he turned around and came back toward me. The manager said, "I know that man. He works here." I then turned the man loose and went up to the top floor. The man I saw was a white man, approximately 30 years old, 5'9", 165, dark hair, and wearing a light brown jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this will be important because, folks, Oswald didn't own a light brown jacket. And if you ask Wesley Frazier what jacket Oswald was wearing that day, he said that it was a gray jacket or a dark blue jacket. Yeah. And of course, later on in the day, they would find a white or very off gray colored jacket that supposedly Oswald had shed after the murder of Officer Tippit. Right. He didn't own that jacket either, at least according to Marina. But I digress. So let's take a look, Joe, because that is the typed version by Mary Rattan, the notary public.
Yeah, she has been
Dallas.
the notary for almost all of the initial same day statements, I believe.
Yeah.
A lot of them we've gone over.
So instead of having him sit there and tell her this, he actually wrote it out, handwritten.
Yes.
Okay.
It is up.
Yeah. And there are some things that are changed on here. So let's check and see what they say. He says, I was on Houston Street and the president's car, and what he crossed out was had
already. Yeah.
And they changed that to had. Made a left turn from Houston, and what they crossed out was something was. Can you make that out, Joe?
I'm trying to figure it out.
That's a tough one. Something was
something. It was approaching,
and was yeah. That it might be what he's trying to say.
Yeah. Oh,
and then below that is a whole nother line crossed out.
Hold on, I just screwed that up. Ooh.
10. It looks like, I don't know.
I'm gonna bring it back up. I'm sorry.
Esplanade, maybe. I don't know. Went off of Houston and Elm. I don't know what in the hell he was trying to say there.
Oh, this is it.
Big, long, stretched out line. No. Right there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I keep my touchscreen. Sorry.
Then he says about, cross that out, and then said just as I. Maybe he spelled approached wrong. I don't know. Elm and Houston, I heard 3 shots. I realized these shots were rifle shots. Blah, 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 blah. On the next page, he says, I entered the from, but he scratched that out and says door. I saw several people standing around. I asked these people where the stairs were. A man, something. I can't.
Yeah, I think it might say said, or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so.
It doesn't make sense in context of the sentence, though.
Well, it does if he said a man said he was the building manager.
Stepped, probably. Stepped. Oh, no. I don't know. Maybe he spelled stepped wrong.
No, I think he was starting to say a man said he was the building manager, and then he crossed said out, and then he said stopped, or stepped forward, and stated he was the building manager, and that he would show me where the stairs were.
And and then shoot, I cropped it out at the bottom. It says and something the stairs at the bottom of the stairs or something. Then this is the next part of it. This is, I think, page 3 of his handwritten affidavit.
Yeah. So the first thing he said when he says we reached the 3rd or 4th floor.
Yep, and that's right here. Or if you follow my cursor, if I can.
Where he says I saw a, and I don't know what is under that, or what it crossed out.
Yeah, that is hard. That's a
tough one.
I think it's something. Saw a few men walking away.
I don't know.
From the stairway.
I wouldn't hazard a guess with this one.
Yeah.
But then I think he started to spell I hollered, and then he crossed that out. He says, I called to the man, and he turned around and came back towards me. The manager said he knew the man. He works here. I then turned the man loose and went on up to the top floor. The man I saw was
Wait, we're up. Top floor. That would be the 7th floor, correct?
correct,
Got
which is where they went. They went up the stairs to the 5th floor, got off the stairs, got on the elevator on the 5th floor, and went all the way up to the 7th floor. They skipped the 6th altogether. And
it.
from the 7th floor, after they searched the very top and to the roof and the top floor, they came down to the 6th. But by the time they had got down there, I believe there was already sheriff's deputies on the 6th floor. I don't know. Let's see. At the very bottom, he says the man I saw was, and what's a white man, but
I think it says approx 5'9". I think it's actually the same description. 5'9". But
28.
it's something before the 65. I don't know.
Yeah.
At the end, it's hard to tell. It's crossed out.
Or maybe it's 5'9" to 6 foot, maybe.
Yeah, which, yeah, you would need to cross that out. Oswald was nowhere near 6 foot.
Dark hair and wearing a light brown jacket. And let me also point out, folks, that the button-up shirt that he was arrested in was a dark, almost rusty brown that had like little gold or silver flecks of string like running all through it. Definitely wouldn't be mistaken for a light brown jacket at all. And most people, including Carolyn Arnold, who supposedly ran into Oswald immediately after this lunchroom encounter, she said Oswald was wearing a white t-shirt. And that's it. And that's what a lot of the guys said that he was wearing that day. No overshirt, just a white t-shirt. Now, that's not saying he didn't have a shirt, an overshirt, or a jacket with him at work somewhere. But while he was working, a white t-shirt. And again, the big thing here is 3rd or 4th floor.
Big difference from 2nd. No mention of a 2nd floor encounter. And we will get to Truly's in a little bit. Trust me, I promise.
Now, Marrion Baker was interviewed by the FBI a couple days later by Vincent Drain.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, Marrion Baker, patrolman, Dallas Police Department, advised that he went into the building of the Texas School Book Depository shortly after President John F. Kennedy had been shot. He stated that he and Mr. Roy Truly, the manager, observed Lee Harvey Oswald on the 2nd floor of the building. So now he has changed his mind in a week. Folks, from the 22nd to the 29th, it's no longer the 3rd or 4th floor. It is now the 2nd. And he asked Truly who that was, and Truly told him Oswald was all right, that he worked in the building. He stated they proceeded up the stairs and did not see Oswald anymore until after his arrest by the Dallas Police Department. So that is November 29th.
Okay. They're starting to get their story a little straighter.
Yeah. Also on the 29th, there is another report from Vincent Drain concerning Mr. Marrion Baker. Advised that he went into the building of the School Book Depository shortly after the President Kennedy had been shot on November 22nd, 63. He said that he and Mr. Roy Truly, now this sounds the same as what I just read you, but trust me, it's not. There is an alteration. There's a point to this. He said that he and Mr. Truly observed Lee Harvey Oswald on the 2nd floor of the building. He stated he asked Truly who that was, and Truly told him Oswald was all right and that he worked in the building. He stated that they proceeded on up the stairs and did not see Oswald anymore until after his arrest by the Dallas Police Department. Baker stated he did not see Oswald before and did not know him. He stated that neither did he know Jack Ruby, other than he had heard of him in the past. He stated he knew of no special connections or activities of Ruby, and he had no information that Ruby and Oswald were acquainted with each other. Now, why this information about Ruby was added to this FBI report by Vincent Drain, I'm not sure, but it was definitely added because I have both versions of the same document, which is odd. Now, as far as Marrion Baker's Warren Commission testimony, I'm not going to bore you with that because, like as Joe said, it's 30 pages long.
Yeah.
And it's the official story we've all heard, the second floor, yada, 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 all of that. They run through him asking questions about how long it took him, to do this, how long it took him to do that, blah, blah, blah.
So much time on the elevator bullshit.
Yeah. So I'm not going to bore you with that. But we do have Commission Exhibit 3076. And this is from very late in the Warren Commission. Maybe even after.
Yeah, I mean, based on the
they
number.
were done.
Yeah.
And the date, September 23rd, 1964, Joe. It's late.
Yeah, it's late.
And this is another handwritten statement. I, Marrion L. Baker, do hereby furnish the voluntary signed statement to Richard Burnett, who has identified himself to me as a special agent of the FBI. I'm employed as an officer with the Dallas Police Department and was employed as of November 22nd, 1963. On the early afternoon of that day, after hearing what sounded to me like a bullet hole or a bullet shot, I entered the school book depository building on the northwest corner of Elm and Houston in downtown Dallas. I entered the building in an effect to determine of the shots might have come from the building. On the second, and something scratched out here. Oh, I see what it is. It's scratched out or third floor. So they scratch that out and make it just to be the second floor. On the second floor, where the lunchroom is located, I saw a man standing in the lunchroom drinking a Coke, and that part is crossed out. He was alone in the lunchroom at the time. I saw no one else in the vicinity of the lunchroom at this time. Marrion Baker. I have read this statement consisting of the pages and one other page, and it is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. I haven't initialed each page and each correction. Marrion Baker. Witnesses Richard Burnett, special agent, and Bobby Hargis, a fellow Dallas police motorcycle officer. Okay.
That's strange. It seems to me they're trying to patch up holes in the story at this late date. I mean, I don't know how anyone can come to another conclusion.
Yeah. Now, Marrion Baker did not participate in Jim Garrison's reindeer games, although he probably would have liked to get him. But the HSCA did track the man down and talk to him. So, in 1977, November 4th to be exact, Marrion Baker was interviewed in his hometown, or where he was living in Lancaster, Texas. It says former DPD motorcycle officer Marrion Baker was interviewed at 3:13 p.m. on 1025-77 at the corner of Industrial Boulevard and Commerce Street in Dallas, Texas. A last-minute change in plans put Baker and Officer Haygood further back in the motorcade near one of the press buses. This change came about because the president did not want flanking motorcycles because of the noise they created. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. I'm pretty sure the president's limo had flanking motorcycles on each side, 2 to be exact, for a total of 4.
I think you are correct, sir.
I mean, unless they wanted 6, like 3 on each side flanking his ass, I don't know. That's news to me. I mean, when you got 4, I mean, what's 2 more? I mean, really, I mean, it's already going to be loud as hell.
True.
Baker said that when he turned from Maine to Houston, a gust of wind almost upset his motorcycle, Joe. The hand of God, if you will.
Hey, I've fallen off motorcycles, scooters, so I'm
Yeah,
not
that gust of wind gets you every time. So.
Yeah, that's my excuse. So
by the time he righted himself, he heard 3 shots ring out. They went bam, bam, bam. They were high up. I figured they come from the Texas School Book Depository building or the Dallas, Texas building. That'd be the Dow Tex building, for those of you out there who don't know. Pigeons flew off the Hurt sign on the roof of the book depository, so I figured it had to be from there. And there's your pigeons, Joe. There was mass hysteria. People were running around on the grass. Walk over the place in Dealey Plaza, who I thought must have been Secret Service men, run out of the follow car.
They're probably reporters.
Well, unless he's talking about
follow-up
Clint Hill.
Yeah.
But that was one. But he says men. He said, I saw men who I thought must have been Secret Service men run out of the follow-up car. One ran back. Now, to me, that would mean one ran back to the follow-up car. Now, from the movies that we've seen, there was only one Secret Service man who disengaged himself from the follow-up car and ran to the limousine, and that was Clint Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what he's seeing, but okay. I then went to the TSBD building and asked where the stairway was. Mr. Truly, the manager, said, "Come on, sir, I'll show you." The elevator was gone, so we started up the stairs. The stairs he refers to were at the rear left corner of the building, on the second floor. I saw a movement of a person in the glass window of a wooden door. I entered the room with my revolver in my hand, and this old boy was walking away from me. I hollered to him. He turned and faced me. I said, "Hey, motherfucker." And he turned around. I pointed my gun at him. Then Mr. Truly came back, and I said, "Does this motherfucker work here?" And he said, Yes, that motherfucker works here." I turned away and went up 2 more flights of stairs with Mr. Truly. And then we took the elevator to the top. We didn't see anybody. I went back down and outside, and by that time, they had the building sealed, Joe.
Okay.
So that's how long Truly and Baker were in the building.
Right.
Fast enough for them to have it sealed, which means every entrance and exit is covered by police. Okay?
Yep.
Asked what he thought of Oswald's demeanor, Baker said, "Oh, he was cool. He didn't say a word."
Yep. We just shot the president, and you're just chilling, getting a Coke.
Baker related that another police officer, whom he referred to as Welcome Barnett, now on the highway patrol at Silver Springs, saw the gun sticking out the window of the school book depository. A woman had told him about it. Okay. Baker said that he then went to Parkland Hospital and spent the remaining 2 hours of his duty there.
Yeah.
He returned to headquarters and parked his bike.
Yeah.
He gave a statement and found out from the officer, who had also taken a statement from Mr. Truly, that the man he accosted on the second floor of the school book depository was Oswald, the man that they had just arrested across town for the murder of his fellow officer, J.D. Tippett. Later, he was present on the third floor when Oswald was being questioned. That would be the third floor of the city hall there.
Yeah.
He heard Oswald being asked, "Did you kill the president?" And Oswald answered, "That's absurd. I want a lawyer. I want a lawyer." Baker said he also knew Officer J.D. Tippit and repeated the now familiar characteristic of Tippett's averted, downcast eyes of a man who just wouldn't look you in the eyes when he talked to you, Joe.
Right.
You don't trust shifty people like that.
Yeah. Well, allegedly from PTSD from World War II.
I try to tell my kids, look, when you're talking to somebody, look them in the eyes. You look like a scafuza if you looking somewhere else. Be a man and look somebody in the eye when you talk to them. When you shake their hand, look them in the eye. Acknowledge them. Baker said that when he went to Washington to appear before the Warren Commission, he met the 3 Negro boys who had been watching the parade from the 5th floor window. Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Baker says, because if you remember, they went up the stairs to the 5th floor because that is where the elevators were hung up.
Right.
So they went on the 5th floor and he didn't see anybody on the 5th floor.
And they took the elevator from the 5th to the 7th.
Yes. He says, them boys were hiding behind boxes when he looked through the 5th floor of the TSBD. He never saw them there, but they told him in Washington that they had seen him and that they were hiding behind boxes because they were scared. Now, what the hell are you hiding for if you ain't got nothing to be scared of? If you didn't do nothing? I mean, yeah, you're definitely black in 1963 in the middle of a crime scene. Sure, I get it.
Yes. But still, you wouldn't be hiding behind boxes in the minutes after.
Hey, man, we work here, Hey, we're cool.
Yeah.
Chill. I mean, Truly was with him. He could have said, yeah, them boys work for me. Or as Truly called him, my N-words. Not my words. That would be Roy Truly's words, by the way.
Yes.
He called them
just to make that clear.
Yes, just to make that clear. So now the interesting part of this, Joe, is that according to FBI agent Bookout and his report of Oswald and his interrogation, Oswald says that at the time of the search of the schoolbook depository building by police officers, that he was on the 2nd floor of said building, having just purchased a Coke from the soft drink machine, at which time a police officer came into the room with his pistol drawn and asked him if he worked there. Mr. Truly was present and verified that he was an employee, and the police officer thereafter left and continued through the building. Oswald said that he took his Coke down to the 1st floor and stood around and had lunch in the employee break room, which would be the domino room.
Right.
He thereafter went outside and stood around for 5 or 10 minutes with Foreman Bill Shelley, and thereafter went home. He stated that he left work because, in his opinion, based upon remarks of Bill Shelley, he did not believe that there was going to be any more work that day due to the confusion in the building. He stated after arriving at his residence that he went to a movie where he was subsequently apprehended by the Dallas Police Department. Oswald stated that his hours of work at the schoolbook depository were from 8 a.m. to 4:45, but that he is not required to punch a time clock. His usual place of work in the building is on the 1st floor. However, he frequently is required to go to the 4th, 5th, or 6th, or 7th floors of the building in order to get books and fill orders. And again, this is the FBI version of Oswald's interrogation on November 22nd, 1963. Uh-oh. Joe, highlight. Yeah. Thank you, Red.
Oh, thank you, sir. We appreciate it, Mr.
Hell
Phillips.
yeah.
Yeah. Happy 365. Yeah.
So
Appreciate it.
here we have Oswald saying that he was on the second floor, that he encountered Marrion Baker and Roy Truly, and that he bought a Coke there. So now, is this? I just don't understand how this is crafted into part of the narrative. Because look, Oswald said a lot of lies when he's in custody or being questioned, but he also says a lot of truths when he's in custody and being questioned. Which Oswald do we have here? And how would Oswald? I mean, he had his testimony. I mean, he knows. I mean, if this encounter actually happened, Joe, his boss, Roy Truly, was right there and saw him with a cop. Right. So he can't really lie himself out of a situation like this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
I have no doubt that the encounter took place between Roy Truly and Marrion Baker and Oswald. The question I have is, where in the hell did this encounter take place? I don't think it was on the second floor.
Right. Did they move it down to, I don't know.
I don't know either. It would make more sense in the entire narrative of everything if you're trying to pin this on Oswald.
If he's up higher, right?
If it is on the third or fourth floor,
right,
in the stairway, right? Because
right.
Guy coming down the stairs, or maybe he's coming down the stairs and hears somebody coming up the stairs, like running up the stairs. So he, it's like, oh shit, maybe I better get off the stairs. So he might dip into like the fifth floor or something, or the third floor. And they see him dipping and say, hey man, do you work here? Oh no. But now they're letting him get all the way down to the second floor. They're letting him casually walk across the lunchroom, dig in his pocket for some change, put it in the machine, make a selection, wait for it to come out. Got to pop the top on the damn thing and turn around. And then Marrion Baker's right there. Because remember, according to Marrion Baker, it wasn't part of his first day testimony, nor his Warren Commission testimony, but it was part of the late addition to the Warren Commission
amended story
that Oswald was drinking a Coke. So for Oswald to be drinking a Coke, everything that I just stated to you had to happen before that. He had to arrive on the second floor. The pneumatic door had to close behind him, which I think that it would have by the time Baker got there if he already had the Coke. Because, again, you go in the door starts to shut behind you. You walk across the room to the Coke machine. You dig in your pocket for change. You put it in the machine. You make a selection. You got to pop the top. And then you're ready to finally take a drink of it, which is when Marrion Baker pops in the room. So that right there tells you there's way too much time, being messed with there. Like there's no way Baker would have seen anything. The story then, goes, well, the door was shutting and he noticed movement moving away from him, And again, here's when you apply logic to situations like this, okay? And this is from Marrion Baker's own words. He turns onto Houston Street. He's in the motorcade. All right. He's headed straight towards the school book depository. Okay. I have no doubt that that's when he heard the shots, and he might have seen birds fly out of some trees or whatever. Maybe even the hurt sign. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. I think he said, I heard the shots were high up. Well, guess what? There's an echo in Dealey Plaza. If you were even that
and
close.
He's on a loud ass Harley. Okay.
Right.
And you're in the middle of protecting the president in a motorcade. There's a lot going on here. But again, like Joe said, his impression was that it came from the building because birds flew off of it. It came from that building because he sensed that it came from high up and straight in front of him. Okay. So, Joe, if you're running into the building immediately to try to get your ass up to the top of the building, would you really stop somebody that you encountered in a lunchroom on the second floor of the building?
I mean, I would imagine you would have expected to encounter a bunch of employees as you ran up and down.
Right. He
You know,
didn't treat anybody else on the first floor like this. He didn't ask, truly, do they work here? Because he said he went on the first floor and there was a lot of people standing around. And Truly spoke up and said, I'm the building manager. I'll take you, but he didn't question anybody else standing around. But you're going to question somebody on the second floor? That makes no sense whatsoever, especially if you're running into the building on a crash ass mission to get to the top of the building to hopefully catch the guy that's up there shooting. Because in your mind, you don't think, well, this guy's going to be able to hide his gun, run all the way across the building and get all the way down the stairs before I can even get in the building.
and be calm as fuck.
Well, either way.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to figure you're going to catch this guy coming down either the elevator or the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're going to be dead set on getting up there because, you just don't know, where the entrances and exits are. If he goes out the fire escape, out a back door, whatever the case may be, how the building's set up. He's just on a mission to get to the top of this building one way or the other. But you're going to stop somebody sipping a Coke in a lunchroom on the second floor? That makes no sense. That to me sounds like a crafted narrative. And we don't know for sure that Oswald said this because it wasn't recorded.
Of course.
And for whatever reason, this is what this is what we have. According to Bookout, and Fritz's notes, I think in Fritz's notes it says second floor, Coke. It's not very like, it's not written out like a sentence, right? Captain Fritz wrote, I asked Oswald where he was when the officer stopped him, and he said that he was on the second floor drinking a Coke when the officer came in. Bookout wrote in a report, Oswald stated he was on the second floor of said building, having just purchased a Coke from the soft drink machine, at which time an officer came into the room with pistol drawn and asked him if he worked there. So Fritz is saying this, Bookout saying that Oswald said this, but we don't know if he actually did or not. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I mean, at this point, I don't know. I mean, this is very, very soon after they bring Oswald back. I doubt the Dallas police had been instructed to, or for whatever reason, decided for themselves to start constructing a false narrative against Oswald at this point. Once things are shaken out and you start to know more, and things come to light, maybe then, right?
Right. Which is why we focus so much on initial first day, initial testimony. That's why we put so much emphasis on that.
And look, we love Bart. He is a friend. He has written the book, Prayer Man. He does not believe that there was a second floor lunchroom encounter. And he is not alone in that belief. At this point, I don't know what to believe. I have not made my mind up one way or the other. There's reasons to believe that it didn't happen, and there's reasons to believe that it could have happened.
Like every aspect of this case.
Right. And ultimately, what difference does it fucking make anyway? Right? If Oswald was on the sixth floor, supposedly he would have had time to get to the second. Okay. If Oswald was out front and immediately after the shots, he went inside and went to get a Coke and he beat, and while they're dicking around with the elevator, he just went up the stairs and got a Coke. What difference does it make? Right? He's still not up on the sixth floor shooting.
Right.
But let's take a look, see, Joe, at what Roy truly said on November 22nd and compare to what Marrion Baker said on November 22nd. Because this is where it gets important, that we compare and contrast these stories before they have a chance to construct a narrative out of something for whatever reason.
Yes. So, same day affidavit is actually, it says November 23rd, but I guess it was taken on the 22nd. I am superintendent of the TSBD, Elm Street, Texas. I was working in that capacity yesterday, Friday, November 22nd, 1963. I have 19 employees in the plant. Lee Harvey Oswald was one of these employees. We considered him a temporary employee. We work a lot of extra employees during the summer and fall. Mr. O.V. Campbell, the vice president of the TSBD, who we'll get into his statement soon, one of the owners, and I started to lunch a few minutes after 12 o'clock. They're not even planning on watching this. We saw that the parade was nearly down to us, so we stopped and watched the president go by. Okay. So you're going out to lunch and you go, oh, well, I guess we'll just chill. After the president passed, we heard what sounded like an explosion. I heard 3 such explosions. Then I realized that they must have been shots. I saw an officer break through the crowd and go into our building. I realized he did not know anything about the building, so I ran in with him. The officer and I went through the shipping department to the freight elevator. We then started up the stairway. We hit the second floor landing. The officer stuck his head into the lunchroom area where there are Coke and candy machines. Lee Harvey was in there. The officer had his gun, and Oswald asked me if he was an employee. I answered yes. We then went up the stairs to the 5th floor, right, where we found the elevator open. We took the elevator to the 7th floor and out on the roof. We searched the roof in a small room, also checked the landings. We could look out over the tracks and street below. We did not find anything. We started down the elevator. The officer took a hurried look on a couple floors on the way down. How do you do that on the elevator? I don't know. We then met some other officers on the 4th floor searching the building. Interesting. I overheard someone say that the shot came from the window of our building. By that time, there were several people in the building. Some 15 minutes later, I was checking our employees, and I did not find Lee. I asked Mr. Shelley if he had seen Lee. He said no. I then contacted Chief Lumpkin and told him Lee was missing. Then both of us went up on the 6th floor, where Captain Fritz was, and I told Captain Fritz about Lee being missing. Oh, coincidentally, they're on the same floor. And where he lived, which of course wasn't even the right address. Right. I did not see Lee Oswald anymore. We don't run a thorough check of our employees. They fill out an application form. In Lee Oswald's case, a lady from Irving called and said a neighbor, you know who that is, had a brother working for me, and he said we could find some more help. This woman said he knew a nice young boy. But if you go to the handwritten affidavit that is very nicely provided by the DPD police archives, there's also a couple crossed out things, Rob, that I want your help with.
And let me point out too, real quick, Joe. You said this was done on November 23rd, but taken on the 22nd. They did not interview Truly on the 22nd. They interviewed him on the 23rd.
Okay. I thought I saw 22nd on one of the things. Maybe they backdated it. I don't know, or I'm wrong. There's probably more like that.
I've got that typed affidavit. It says subscribed and sworn to me this 23rd day of November.
Okay. Yeah. So, and you think about it, right? Think about it in that context, Rob. You take Bill Shelley and everyone on the 6th floor down to the police station, whether detained or arrested. Not going to get into that. Get all their affidavits, but they don't get the same day affidavit of the manager that took Marrion Baker and encountered Oswald same day of.
Well, he's a working man, Joe. He was working.
Well,
He was a little busy that day, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure he had to be at the building until the police were done their thorough search, and then he had to make sure the building got locked up and all that. And the police had their hands full Friday already after Oswald's arrested, and they're interrogating him.
That's true.
And all the other employees are down there, and they're doing him. So it doesn't surprise me that they waited until the 23rd to interview Truly. But because of this, you know, the whole second floor thing is now being pushed, and is in place, but I don't know why.
Right. So it looks like in his handwritten thing, he says, also checked the, I don't know what this is. We could, I'm terrible at reading this. But what it has crossed out is down on and looked. The officer looked but crossed out, took a
hurried look
on a couple floors on the way down. We then met some other officers on the way down, blah, blah, blah. And then this is the last page of his handwritten document. I did not see Lee Oswald any time. We don't, and usually is crossed out. We had read this before. We don't run a thorough, I don't know what was crossed out there.
Much of.
Oh, yeah, much of. We don't run a thorough check of
We
our
don't run
own.
much check on temporary employees.
Not on us. So Truly and Baker's, statements day after don't exactly line up. Going to his Warren Commission testimony. Now, when did you leave for Mr. Lunch, Mr. Truly? As far as I know, it was between 12:10 and shortly after, possibly 12:15. Okay, so you're planning to go out to lunch with O.V. Campbell, Mr. Campbell, Vice President, TSBD, 15 minutes before the motorcade comes. Have you not heard about this throughout the day? President's coming by? Yes, sir. Where did you go to eat? We didn't go anywheres. Mr. Campbell and I, that is O.V. Campbell. Mr. O.V. Campbell, Vice President, and I had started out for lunch. I don't know as we had any particular place in mind. We ate at several places. It was around 12:10, 12:15, I would say. Nearest to my memory, as we got to the outside of the building, we noticed it wouldn't be long until the motorcade would come by and decided to wait and watch the president come by. Do you remember where you were standing with Mr. Campbell? I would judge it out on Elm Street, 10, 15, or 20 feet from the front steps. We first stood out on the steps, the bottom steps, a few minutes, and then we waited out in the line of spectators on Elm Street. And that you I clipped this because it's long. And that you gradually might have moved a little bit towards the south, right? That's correct. All right. Do you know approximately what time you got there? 3 to 4 minutes after we reached the entrance, the walkway, we stood on the steps 2 or 3 minutes, and I don't believe we just gradually moved out a bit. And then when the policeman leading the motorcade came off of Maine to Houston, we saw them coming. And then we just moved out a little further to the edge of the parkway. They began, after the shots, they began screaming and falling to the ground. People, spectators, Newmans. And the people in front of myself and Mr. Campbell surged back, either in terror or panic. They must have seen this thing. I became separated from Mr. Campbell. They just practically bore me back to the first step of the entrance of our building. Interesting. I heard a policeman in this area along here make a remark, "Oh, goddamn," or something like that. I just remember that. It wasn't a motorcycle policeman. Interesting. Wasn't Baker a motorcycle policeman?
He was, but you got to remember, Officer Joe Smith was stationed on the corner there, not on a motorcycle.
Okay, that's true.
And there was another one over blocking traffic on Elm Street as well.
Yeah, it might have been Seymour Heitzman. Or maybe he was on the other side of the depository. But
No,
anyways.
it wasn't Weissman. It was, I forget who it was. We just talked about him on a previous show, though.
Yeah. It's all a blur. But as I came back here and everybody was screaming and hollering, you could do this better than me. Just moments later, I saw a young motorcycle policeman run up to the building. Of course, this is the Warren Commission. This is when they get their story straight. He ran up by me and he was pushing people out of the way. He pushed a number of people out of the way before he got to me. I saw him coming through, I believe, as he ran up the stairway. I mean, the steps. I was almost to the steps. I ran up and caught up with him. I believe I caught up with him inside the lobby of the building or possibly the front steps. I don't remember that close. So let's go, Rob, to the best footage of this. And this is from friend of the show, Mr. Alex Harris's YouTube channel. Hour and 3 minutes of the Darnell film. So long.
On a loop.
No, it's like all like family stuff and other stuff before that. But let's see the policeman allegedly running into the TSBD, and was that Baker or not? Oh, did I pass it? I might have passed it. Yeah, I passed it. Okay. So motorcade. There we go.
There he goes.
Yep. Okay. So let me back this up. You have the policeman, allegedly Baker, running, right? And you do have some guy following him. I don't know if that's Truly, though.
No, Truly is back there by the steps. He's like right in front of the steps.
So, what do we do with this? Let's look at some other things here, Rob. How about Mr. O.V. Campbell, of course, the vice president that was with Mr. Truly, and they were going out to lunch, but they stopped to watch the parade on a whim. And this was taken February 17th, 1964. I could not find an interview of O.V. Campbell before this. There might have been. It's tricky with the O and the dot period and the V and the period, right? Or,
Well, his name's Ochus Virgil Campbell.
Yeah. It's tricky with that. They play games with it. But I talked to Mr. Campbell this date, February 1764. My name is O.V. Campbell. On November 22nd, I arrived at work between 8:30 and 9 a.m. My office is on the second floor. I did my usual work. I had forgotten about the parade. Yeah, okay. I started to lunch with Mr. Truly. When we got downstairs, Mr. Truly asked if I wanted to wait and see the parade. We waited on the front steps until the parade turned off Main Street onto Houston Street. We then walked across Elm Street and stood on the curb near the parade as it turned from Houston down under the underpass. I heard the shots. It sounded like they came from the knoll. I heard the shots. It sounded like they came from the knoll. near the railroad tracks. I thought it was firecrackers. A uniformed officer came up, and at the same time, a construction worker with a helmet on came across the street and said he had seen a rifle barrel in the 6th floor window. I walked back to the building. Mr. Truly and the officer had already gone in and up the stairs. I waited until they came back down to see if they had found anything. The employees were standing around. When Mr. Truly came down, he said one of the employees was missing, a man named Oswald. I did not know Oswald. I told Mr. Truly to tell the officers about him and what he looked like. I went back to my office, and an FBI agent came in and introduced himself. I don't remember his name, of course. He asked that I have all the employees vacate the building. This I did, telling them to take the rest of the day off. I remained in the office until about 2:30, 3 p.m. Then I left. Bro, Oswald's in custody now. Let's give everyone else the day off. Although I know there were searching and things going on. But the officers were still searching the building when I left. This concludes Mr. Campbell's statement to me. Jim Lavelle.
Heard of him.
Yes, that's a company man. But that's the earliest statement I can find. But I found some other things, Rob. Of course, this came out in 1978 in November. This was during the HSCA. This was an article. Was Oswald in window? I'm going to start on the left here. The committee did not speculate, HSCA, on the second gunman. Bonnie Ray Williams, a depository employee, told the Warren Commission he was the last known person to have been on the 6th floor before the shooting. Chicken bones, blah, blah, blah. A secretary in the book depository, Mrs. Carolyn Johnston, told the news recently she saw Oswald in the lunchroom as she left the building at 12:25 p.m. That would be about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Before the assassination. About the time Bronson was filming the 6th floor window. Oswald also was seen near the lunchroom by depository manager Roy Truly and Dallas policeman Marrion Baker less than 2 minutes after the shooting. In this other article, I think they're two different articles. Miss Carolyn Johnson said that she saw Oswald in the 2nd floor lunchroom as she was on her way out of the depository to watch the presidential motorcade in 1963. She left the building at 12:25 p.m. So there's, whether he was on the 1st floor or the 2nd floor, he wasn't on the 6th, according to Carolyn Johnston. She left the building 12:25. Warren Commission said no one saw Oswald after 11:55 a.m. Policeman Marrion Baker and depository manager Truly met Oswald in the doorway, blah, 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 at 12:32 p.m., they say. Mrs. Johnston, then Miss Carolyn Arnold, was secretary to depository vice president O.V. Campbell. She said she never read the FBI reports of the two interviews with hers, so she was surprised to learn they made no mention of her sighting of Oswald in the lunchroom at 12:25.
Hence the reason, because the FBI and the Dallas police knew that they had a witness that saw Oswald in the 2nd floor lunchroom at 12:25.
Yeah.
Bonnie Ray Williams was up on the 6th floor until 12:20 by his own admission. Yeah. And there was nobody else up there.
No, he's not hiding behind the boxes in a prone position waiting for JFK's motorcade, which was late.
So it sounds to me like they have a problem. And they craft a very similar narrative to what Carolyn Arnold saw and said, right?
Mhm.
And the only thing is one happens before the shots and one happens after the shots, but it's still Oswald's second floor lunchroom.
Right.
You know,
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah.
she could be a very problematic witness to the
She
point
could
where
be.
they didn't include that in her affidavits or her interviews.
Or was she maybe interviewed by the Warren Commission, Rob? Give a big guess here.
You want me to guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure she was.
No, she wasn't.
Oh, she wasn't.
No.
I figured they did and changed her testimony, like Vicky Adams.
No, I don't believe they did.
Well, there's probably a reason they stayed away from her, because again, this is somebody that could put Oswald in the second floor lunchroom at 12:25. So unless you believe that Oswald went from sitting in the lunchroom to eating his lunch or getting a Coke or whatever he was doing in there, and ran upstairs with 5 minutes to spare. And you got to remember, Kennedy was already running like 15 to 20 minutes late.
Yeah.
He was supposed to come by before then, like at 12:15, 12:10.
Yeah.
So he would have missed his opportunity had he not been laying up in wait. So are we to believe that, Oswald was chilling in the lunchroom until 12:25, having no idea where the motorcade is at this point, and deciding
this is
well,
not I'm saying this is not live streamed, right? Oswald isn't on his iPhone looking at the motorcade as it's
he doesn't even
going.
have a TV in front of him, with
right.
a live feed of the motorcade.
Yes.
So, could he get up there in the 5 minutes before? Sure, could have. But if that was your plan all along, was to lay up there and wait and shoot the man, he would have been up there already a long time ago.
Yeah.
But again, Bonnie Ray Williams was up there until 12:20, so maybe just screw it.
Yeah. Especially when you consider that when the rest of the employees took the elevator down and Oswald said, "Hold it," and they go, "Nah, screw you.
Yeah,
we're going down." And maybe that was all part of his plan.
Normally, the second floor lunchroom was kind of off limits to the depository workers,
the lower class ones.
Yes, or the black ones. Maybe.
That's what we've heard.
But again, you would take advantage of the situation knowing that, hey, well, most people are outside watching this motorcade. Nobody's gonna give a shit if I'm sitting in here eating my lunch in the nice lunchroom,
Right. Yeah.
So maybe I was always like, I'm just gonna sit here and eat my lunch and drink my Coke and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah. And have you heard of Mrs. R.A. Reed, Rob?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear her day of testimony. It's interesting too. I work for the TSBD. Yesterday, November 22nd, I guess it was the day after I was working, we took our lunch period, 12 to 1. I went outside to watch the parade go by. I was standing in front of the steps of our building. As the parade drew, I walked closer to the street. Just after the president passed, I heard 3 shots. The first thing I thought of was someone was shooting at the president. I remarked to Mr. Campbell, that would be Mr. O.V. Campbell, vice president, who was standing by, that I thought the shots had come from our building, but I heard someone else say no. I think it was farther down the street. I went back into our building and up to the second floor to our office. Just after I entered the office, I saw one of the 2 men who work in the warehouse come through the back office door. This door is located near the lunchroom and the rear stairway. I did not know this man's name. However, I know him now to be Lee Oswald. I said, "Lee, someone has shot at the president. I hope they didn't hit him." Lee mumbled something and walked out of the office. I did not understand what he said, and he had a Coke in his hand. When I saw him, he was dressed in a white T-shirt, Rob,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't recall what trousers was like. His trousers. I did not see him anymore after that.
Interesting.
Interesting. Someone that was with Ochus Campbell and Truly, you know, on the corner of, I guess, Elm and Houston there. And I think that is it. But I do want to read one page here from, let me bring it up, from Mr. the GOAT of this subject, Mr. Bart Camp's book, Pyramid, which I have right next to me, which I'm holding up, but you can't see it because the PowerPoint is up. Marrion Baker's run. DPD patrolman Marrion Baker's dash going into the direction of the front steps of the TSBD was captured partially by Malcolm Couch and Darnell. It is about 10 seconds after the final gunshot. Baker was one who allegedly saw Oswald in the second floor lunchroom together with the building superintendent, Roy Truly, 75 to 90 seconds after the attack. This so-called event will be brought up while I'm going through the building in this book. And he goes through all the floors. Here's Ed Ledoux's blend of both films based on, Gerda Dunkel's GIF from 2012. It shows that Couch did not follow Baker with his camera as much as Darnell did. And we just played the Darnell film. While Baker is running in the direction of the building, he passes TSBD's superintendent, Roy Truly, who states in his first affidavit that day to Nat Pinkston, he saw an officer start towards the entrance of the building, and he came in with the officer just a few seconds after. In another affidavit, he Truly then noticed a DPD officer wearing a motorcycle helmet and boots running towards the entrance, blah, blah. Let's see. Let's go to Buell, your favorite, and your favorite witness, Buell Wesley Frazier, who was on the steps, who stood on the landing on top of the front steps, did not see Truly go in, and for that I refer to his Warren Commission testimony. Mr. Ball, my boy, Joseph Ball, did you see anybody after that come into the building while you were there? Why don't you do Frazier? It's only a couple lines.
You mean somebody other than it didn't work there?
A police officer?
No, sir. I stood there a few minutes, and some people who worked there, normally started to go back into the building because a lot of us didn't eat our lunch. So we started.
Next page, Joe Molina, who stood there as well, did not see Marrion Baker enter
Joe Molina,
as he did, states in his Warren Commission testimony. You want to do a Molina accent here?
Sure. Well, I just stood there. Everybody was running. I didn't know what to do, actually, because what could I do? I was just shocked.
Did anyone say anything?
Yes, this fellow come to me, and Mr. Williams. He said, somebody was shooting at the president. Somebody, I don't know who it was. There was some shooting, and this fellow said, what can anybody gain by that? He just shook his head. I stood there. I shook my head. I didn't know what to think, what was happening, but I wanted to find out. So I went down where the grassy slope is, and I was trying to gather pieces of the conversation with the people who had been close by there. And somebody said, well, the president has been shot, and I think they shot somebody else too. Something like that.
Oh, did you see Mr. Truly go into the building?
Yes.
Where were you when you saw him go into the building?
I was right there at the entrance.
Did you see a police officer with him?
I did not see a police officer. I don't recall seeing a police officer, but I did see him go inside.
Did you see a white helmeted police officer? Okay, that's the best of that. So yeah, I mean, listen, it's all a mess. It's all a mess. This whole story.
As per the usual.
As per usual.
And I have here another statement from Truly, Joe.
Okay.
from Bart Camp's website as well. In Leo Sauvage's The Oswald Affair, he actually interviewed Roy Truly. Okay. I want to say it was 66, maybe. He says, when I asked him whether it had taken a long time for him and the motorcycle policeman to reach the lunchroom, he answered, apparently not realizing what I was driving at. He says, oh, no. It was as soon as the last shot was fired when I saw the officer come running after the shots. No, as a matter of fact, it was so soon afterwards, I don't believe he was riding in the motorcade. He must have been off his motorcycle standing nearby. Anyhow, it was right away after the shots. I knew they were shots, but had no idea they were fired from the building. I thought the officer wanted to go to the roof for a better look, and I immediately offered to show him how. We ran to the freight elevators in the back of the building because the front elevators do not go much beyond the 4th floor. But the 2 freight cars had both been left somewhere up on the top floors, and we took the stairs, the officer ahead of me. When I reached the 2nd floor landing, the officer was already at the open door of the lunchroom, some 20 or 35 feet, or 20 or 25 feet away. No, I couldn't tell you exactly how much time it took, all this, but it wasn't long. Baker being ahead of Truly, this is not the only occasion Truly mentions this. The same is repeated in the Detroit Free Press of December 7, 1963. Quote, the policeman ran up the stairs ahead of me. And also in the New York Journal in May of 1964, the policeman was a few steps ahead of me. And in Leo Sauvage's interview, he was 20 or 25 feet away from him, which is pretty goddamn far.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And I think Joe, we have this. This is alleging where Baker crosses Roy Truly.
Okay.
And right under the arrow, you can't see it because of the Mexican cowboy hat. But that's Marrion Baker, and the figure to the right under the red arrow with the hat on would be Roy Truly. Allegedly. And this comes from the Prayer Man website as well. And then I got another interesting picture here.
And by the way, just before you move on, you could see probably, I mean, that's a good picture of allegedly Prayer Man there too, right? But
yeah,
you could see employees like Molina and Frazier, whose testimonies I've read out to you a couple minutes ago, who said, I didn't see any policemen run in right away.
Right.
Say that.
Yeah. Very odd. Very odd. Because you think, you see him, he's the big, tall donk right in the middle. And I mean, Baker would have ran right in front of him with his stupid white helmet on into the building. And if Frazier missed that somehow, and Molina missed that somehow.
Hell, another coincidence in this.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But this is a diagram of the 2nd floor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's interesting about this is, for those of you who don't know, okay, when you go into the 1st floor, as it was in 1963, it was a school book depository.
There's a vestibule, right?
Well, yeah, there's a vestibule, and you have to cross the entire goddamn floor to get all the way to the back where the elevators are and the rear staircase. Okay. They had to run all the way across the floor back to the very back corner. And then, as you can see, if you come off the 2nd floor landing, there's like a diagonal diamond shaped outcropping, if you will, with a door that leads into the lunchroom. Okay. See that? It's labeled lunchroom.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you come to the bottom right corner of the 2nd floor, and if you were to come in to the school book depository on the 1st floor and immediately make a right, there's another set of stairs. But that set of stairs only goes to the 2nd floor. It does not go any higher than that. Okay.
Right. So, of course, they couldn't have taken that stairway.
that we, well, they didn't take that stairway, but I'm saying Carolyn Arnold, that's the stairway she took to get up to the second floor before those guys made it up to the second floor. Because it's right there inside of the first floor landing. She would have gotten to the second floor quicker. And I'm guessing wherever her office is, and I don't know exactly where, if she was a secretary for O.V. Campbell, you see his office all the way on the right in the middle.
Right. 200, I think it was. So I'm guessing it would have been on the second floor, her office, right?
Well, yeah,
Somewhere.
if she was his secretary. So
right.
It wouldn't have been in his office. It would probably been out front of his office where that number 3 is. So from her line of sight, she could probably see into the lunchroom. I'm guessing there was windows in there. Which is why she said she saw Oswald, right? So that's the layout of the second floor. And then I got this photo, Joe. This is a picture of Marrion Baker all the way on the left.
Right.
And
White
Roy
belt.
Truly.
Right.
With the hat on.
Second to the left. Yeah.
Yep. The short guy, the shortest one with a hat and glasses. And this picture is taken at Dallas Police Headquarters.
Huh.
So he was there on the 22nd, but they chose not to interview him. Because Marrion Baker, remember he says when he left the school book depository after they came back down, he went to Parkland until he got off his shift for the next 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Truly goes back to the depository, right?
Yeah.
So maybe this photo was taken on the 23rd on a Saturday. I don't know, but you see Marrion Baker still wearing a stupid motorcycle helmet. So who knows? I just thought that was an interesting photo.
Yeah, very, very.
Marrion Baker lived until 2011, Joe. He passed away at the age of 80. And Truly, I believe, passed away in 85. And I found this weird. I found Truly's grave, right?
Boozer.
But there's like nowhere for them to bury him. You know, I've never seen 2 headstones like this on top of each other, like that close. Like, that's weird to me.
They must have got a discount or something.
Because normally when you call a headstone, it's placed at your head and not your feet. Then it would be a footstone. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's weird. I'm not saying it means anything. It's just, it's freaking weird to me.
And it doesn't even have his death date.
Yeah, it does. November 13th, 1985.
Oh, it says Roy Sampson. Oh, that was his
middle name.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Handsome, Sansom, Truly.
Yeah. I got it.
But yeah, I thought that was a little odd.
A little, yeah.
And this is Marrion Baker's old tombstone. He's in Heath Cemetery, somewhere in Texas. Not buried with his wife, which is odd.
Did they get divorced?
Not to my knowledge. Let's see here. Marrion Baker, son. He enjoyed farming. Preceding him in death were his parents and 2 brothers.
And wife.
Doesn't say wife.
Survivors
include 2 sons.
Oh, yeah.
Ray Baker and wife. Roy Baker and wife. But so maybe he was a bachelor for his entire life, which is weird. Just saying.
Yeah.
He didn't have any kids and he didn't, no mention of a wife. What? No, I'm sorry. It does. It includes his 2 sons. So he had kids. He had 2 kids, but no mention of a wife. Maybe he never married.
Wait, survivors include his 2 sons, Ray Baker and wife, Mary Alice. Mary Alice is Roy Baker's wife or
Ray
Truly's?
Baker's wife.
Not Truly's wife.
Oh, there it says the mother of his sons, Melba Ray Baker. So not his wife, just the mother of his sons.
Okay.
Melba.
That's all.
Just my baby mama, Melba.
Yeah. Yeah. But the point is, none of this timeline adds up. 3rd or 4th floor is it's very different than 2nd floor.
And they're alleging that, okay, in a minute and a half, like 90 seconds, Joe, that Oswald went from shooting at that window, okay, to getting up, running all the way across the 6th floor, hiding the rifle in between some boxes, and then proceeding down the stairs to the 2nd floor lunchroom, where he is then encountered by Marrion Baker. And I found a very funny reenactment of this.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Like an official reenactment?
No, it's from a movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The acting is not very good. I'll preface that by saying this. So here is a reenactment from the last shot that kind of was married up to the Zapruder film. Here we go.
Hi, Rob and Joe. I got my t-shirt. I love
Sally.
it. Thank you very much. And if you can get one, everyone, get one because they're great. And the lads do so much work for us and it's well deserved. Thank you. Mwah.
Mwah. Thank you, Sally, for that brief commercial break. By the way, there's new designs up over in the merch store, so check them out. No, legit though. Here's the reenactment video that I promised.
I mean, and no one, I don't know anyone that would mind hearing Sally's accent.
Yes, always welcome.
Yes.
Here's the reenactment. Here we go.
I fancy it.
So it starts off with the Zapruder film, the shot, the 3rd shot, boom. Time's ticking. Time is ticking away.
Right.
After the 3rd shot, Baker speeds up his motorcycle and parks, scans quickly, and heads for the steps of the school book depository, folks.
Stand by just a moment, please.
Someone shot at the president. I think from this building. How do I get upstairs?
Come on, I'll show you.
Where's the goddamn elevator?
Yeah. Oh, shit. It's not working.
The elevator's on the upper floors. Are there stairs?
Yes, over there.
Let's go. Hold it. Come here. Officer.
Officer?
Do you know this man?
Yes, he works here.
Come on.
$92 seconds for all that to transpire. Now, does that look believable to you, Joe?
No, not really. It would have taken a little longer than that.
Because you got to remember, he's still on his motorcycle on Houston Street when he hears the 3rd shot. So he has to get up to the corner of Houston and Elm, park his motorcycle, dismount, start running for the school book depository, get inside. It just didn't, but this is what they try to tell you. Within 90 seconds, Oswald is casually chilling in the second floor lunchroom where he was seen by Carolyn Arnold. Thankfully, she wasn't smart enough to read her affidavits until many, many years later when she figured out that they had left that part out conveniently and not called her for the Warren Commission conveniently.
Right.
And look, all this, folks, is done for timing reasons. Because Oswald has to be the shooter in their narrative. And for that to be possible, it's all about timing and time and eyewitnesses seeing him in different places at certain times. That is why they had to craft this narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Now, interestingly enough, Joe,
and you could see how it comes closer together as time goes on, right?
Yeah. I have another affidavit, and this one is for the President's Commission on the Assassination of President Kennedy, State of Texas, County of Dallas. Signed this 11th day of August, 1964 at Dallas, Texas by Marrion Baker. So he had to do up an affidavit for the Warren Commission in August of 64. I, Marrion Baker, being duly sworn, say, number 1, I am an officer in the Dallas Police Department. Number 2, on November 22nd, 1963, upon hearing shots, I rode my motorbike 180 to 200 feet, parked the motorbike, and ran 45 feet to the Texas School Book Depository building. On March 20th, 1964, counsel from the President's Commission on the Assassination of President Kennedy timed a reenactment of my actions after hearing the shots on November 22nd, 1963. During this reenactment, Joe, I reached the recessed door of the School Book Depository building 15 seconds after the time of the simulated shot. So, we are to believe that Marrion Baker rode his motorcycle at 10 miles an hour, 180 to 200 feet after hearing the final shot, dismounting, and then running 45 feet into the School Book Depository in 15 fucking seconds. Now, I don't know of any other witnesses that had to do so many re-interviews and so many affidavits after their Warren Commission testimony to try to parse out the timing of this whole second floor lunchroom encounter and Marrion Baker's actions that day. Other than Marrion Baker. What? There's got to be a reason. They're trying to make this thing fit somehow.
Yeah, they're tying up the inconsistencies in the timeline.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, Joe.
Yes. I agree. And get the horn ready because Trey
Trey do?
Trey appreciated Sally's voice so much. He gave him $5 super chat.
Well, that deserves a little papoose.
Papoose, yes. Papoose. James, what a cutie pie, yes.
Papoose. Yay.
Yes.
Thank you, Trey.
Yes.
And Mrs. Trey. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So before we go, I have a couple starred comments. We got to have a Lone Gun. This is from like way before. We got to have a Lone Gunman podcast meetup in New Orleans, Wisconsin. You never know. Could be in the works. Thanks. I never quite got to Peaches in response to her video. Never quite got to camp in Lafayette. Turns out I only had 2 days. I had a wonderful time. you'll love it when you visit. Well, thank you again for that, Peaches.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And excellent.
Thinking of us.
Yes, Scott. That was Scott's response, Mr. Edwards, to Mrs. Peach's videos. Do we have film of Peaches distributing leaflets? I don't know. Check with John T. Martin.
Yes, and you should have had old George act like he was distributing some leaflets. Or
did Baker's elevator go all the way to the top floor? We covered that. They only got on the elevator on the 5th floor and then went to the 7th, right?
I think that's a joke comment about Baker's internal elevator going to the top.
Oof, over my head. They found a dark blue jacket at the TSBD later on, Tony Holman says.
Thank you, Tony. Not light brown.
Well, any of us, Mr. James King asked, know what happened. I mean, probably not. I think people that are critical researchers could get a very good idea of what happened.
Yeah, and I think what Bart's research does is give you an overview of everything. From every angle, from everything. I mean, there's even another O.V. Campbell interview. I think it was the Detroit Free Press interview with him. And he says that he saw Oswald on the 1st floor in a room when he went back in the building, which is interesting.
Yeah. And of course, he said he thought the shots came from the knoll right away. They didn't come from my building. And whether that's self-preservation or not, I don't know. But
and it's interesting in Truly's one of his statements, he talks about the guy with the hard hat, coming over and saying that he saw a rifle out of one of the windows, which of course he's referring to Howard Brennan, the star witness who saw Oswald shooting out the window, from across the street. So interesting that he mentioned him specifically.
Yeah. And last time, Tiny says, how come Triple B isn't showing my merch commercial? I don't think he meant to show that video. He's done it a couple times now.
No, I'm totally meant to do that, Joe.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell happened to her merch video.
Oh.
To be honest with you, it's not in the pipeline anymore.
It was hidden. It was stolen by the authorities.
If you have it, Tiny, resend it, and I will put it in the rotation because it's a good one too. I don't know what happened to it, to be honest with you. And Tiny sends us so many emails. There's no way I could go back and find it. But if you still have it handy, send it. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Tiny with our lovely mug.
Yeah. James says, show that Morley document one more time before you go. I don't know what Morley document he's talking about. But we'll try to figure that out later. Or
the cropped one.
Oh, yeah. Where Mr. not O.V. Campbell, Doug Campbell, completely.
And notice how quickly Morley has dropped the whole Harvey narrative.
Right.
Like a hot fucking potato.
Right. Well,
because there's nothing you can say. He got the narrative wrong, and we busted his ass and called him on it. And there's not really nothing to do except move on.
Yes.
To new Russian documents,
new psyops. There's always going to be something.
Always.
It's a lot. Tune into our members only if you want to hear us really rant about it. But yeah, man, I thought we did that justice. I think their initial statements are very interesting, and definitely you could tell throughout time kind of come together timeline wise. Whether it's 3rd or 4th floor, or where the shots came from, or Baker, or the time it took for him to get into the building and find the manager and run up the stairs, and it's all a mess. It's all a mess. And I think they just kind of conflated everything and fudged everything together.
Absolutely. So with that being said, once again, we leave you wanting more and knowing less, knowing more. If that makes any sense.
It does to me.
Yeah, something like that. So with that being said, Joseph, grab the damn dog if she is available.
We'll see.
Thankfully, I've not been bothered by Kitty once tonight. I fed her before I came down here, so she's probably belly full, tits up in her bed. Let me grab Dino.
I grabbed her.
Hey, thank you so much, you guys, for the super chats. You rock. We appreciate it. We appreciate you for hanging out with us here on Friday. We hope you enjoyed the show. And we will be back again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. But before then, we got a book review for you and a members only show for you next Wednesday night. If you'd like to become a channel member, just click join. It's that easy.
Yes.
That easy. Covert operators get access to the members only show every Wednesday night. Covert operators and higher. The last Wednesday of the month, we opened it up for everybody, spoofs included. So those of you who got blessed by the triple B or the double B, sorry, tonight with free memberships, just know that on the last Wednesday of this month, you can check out our members only show. And if you dig it, well, hell, upgrade your membership and you'll get one every week.
Yes, you will.
And a special thank you again to Ann from Peach Sisters Kitchen for giving us some footage of Nolans, baby. Nolans.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. With that being said, we will see you next time, folks. Peace.
Peace.